guys, and welcome to Unhinged, your one-stop shop for all entertainment news, theories, reviews, and all that jazz. I am your illustrious host, Kiriakos Vilchez, and I have a special treat for you today. This is the first official episode of Raptor Breakout, a Jurassic Park podcast series. Before I jump into what this kind of new show is here on my channel, I want to take a moment to talk about the future of my channel going forward. If you've been listening or watching this far, you've realized that Unhinged is a hybrid series of sorts. Beginning as a podcast and then transforming into an entertainment series, Unhinged is like something straight out of an InGen lab. And that is how it will remain. Depending on the content I'm sharing with you guys, sometimes it's necessary to switch up the presentation format. So whether you're watching a Joker Theory episode on Mad Love or listening to me rant and rave about He-Man, in a podcast, Unhinged will always be something different. With Raptor Breakout being a completely different series solely focusing on the Jurassic Park franchise, I am taking the podcast approach. I always intended my channel to cover a lot of Jurassic Park stuff. I love Jurassic Park, I'm a big fan, and I hope that this new series I've been waiting so very long to put together will inform and entertain you guys. The Jurassic Park franchise is near and dear to my heart, and it has an amazing community of fans, so I hope that the Raptor Breakout podcast helps foster even more connection for all of us fans, also giving myself a platform to share my thoughts, concerns, and more on everything Jurassic. So, with that being said, let's jump straight into this thing and talk some Jurassic Park. First item on the InGen list here is the character of Dr. Henry Wu. Why am I talking about Dr. Henry Wu? Yeah, well, Henry Wu is a fascinating character. I actually read something interesting the other day on Reddit where someone argued for the case that Dr. Wu is the main antagonist of the Jurassic World films, as he is overstepping scientific boundaries to help create more dangerous dinosaurs, blurring the lines of science and madness. After thinking about this for a while, I thought to myself, well, wait a second. Isn't Dr. Wu doing what he was always paid to do in the first place? I mean, isn't he paid to make dinosaurs? I decided to dig deeper into Dr. Wu's history and see if he truly was the Dino Frankenstein he's made out to be. Okay, so going back to the first Jurassic Park, as you remember, Dr. Wu is InGen's chief geneticist. He's working alongside other scientists to help make John Hammond's dream park everything he wants it to be. He's just doing science stuff. He isn't a bad guy. He's just doing his job, making dinosaurs. When the Isla Nublar incident occurred in 1993, he actually returned a year later during the park deconstruction operation to conduct more research on the dinosaurs' breeding ability and help catalog the specimens on the island. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this information, I pulled all this from the Jurassic Wiki page. Not the Wikipedia page, but it's specifically, all this information is derived from some kind of canon or novelizations or anything revolving the film. So I'm not just making this stuff up. This is his actual history here, according to Jurassic canon. So while InGen struggles, after 1993, people get eaten, dinosaurs break out, the park goes under. InGen is struggling after this incident, 1993. Wu, actually, during this time, he thrives as a scientist. He's even published a book focusing heavily on hybridization theory. He's also working with relative ease, never really coming under any real scrutiny for the events that transpired in Jurassic Park. Now, in 1998, the Masrani Global Corporation, they take over InGen, but Wu stays on, even being promoted by Simon Masrani and helping to assist in making the new dinosaurs in the Hammond Creation Lab for Jurassic World. So in 98, life is looking pretty good for Dr. Wu. He's still working. He's now in charge of creating the dinosaurs for Jurassic World, thanks to Masrani. And he's not really doing anything bad. He's just doing his job. Again, he's just doing his job. Okay, so far, as you can see, he hasn't been doing anything wrong. He's just doing what he does. Now, after the Indominus Rex breaks out and kills several people and dinosaurs, and hundreds of tourists are injured in the new park, this is where Dr. Wu's status as a character changes. During Jurassic World, he's a nice reminder of the old park days, okay? Then, only when things go awry, okay, pay attention to this, only when things go awry, he's accused of wrongdoing by Masrani for doing exactly what he was instructed to do in the first place, make a new scary dinosaur. What? Okay, what? So basically, here's the deal with the Indominus Rex. Jurassic World needed a new attraction, okay? Do you remember that scene where Claire's talking to the investors and she's telling them, well, they want something new, they want something exciting for the park. They want the park to make money, therefore, how does the park make money? With new attractions, hence new dinosaurs. So, the investors are antsy. Money makes the dino world go round. So, Wu and the other geneticists they're up against the wall. They're instructed to help make a brand new dinosaur. Of course, everything they needed to make this dinosaur was not in any real fossil record. Okay, it had to go through hybridization, something Wu was exploring in his earlier years. Now, here's one of my favorite scenes where Wu defends his actions to Masrani. I'm going to play a clip for you guys from Jurassic World, okay? Listen to this. Wu is defending his actions in an eloquent manner, okay? He's not saying that he didn't do anything wrong. He's not saying that things didn't happen. But he's defending what he was instructed to do by Masrani concerning the creation of the Indominus and its subsequent breakout.
You know that I'm not at liberty to reveal the asset's genetic makeup. Modified animals are known to be unpredictable.
Just kill people, Henry.
That's unfortunate.
What purpose could we have for a dinosaur that can camouflage?
Cuttlefish genes were added to help her withstand an accelerated growth rate. Cuttlefish have chromatophores that allow the skin to change color.
It hid from thermal technology.
Really?
How is that possible?
Tree frogs can modulate their infrared output. We use strands from their DNA to adapt her to a tropical climate, but I never imagined...
Who authorized you to do this?
You did. Bigger. Scarier? Cooler, I believe is the word that you used in your memo. You cannot have an animal with exaggerated predator features without the corresponding behavioral traits.
What you're doing here, what you have done.
The board will shut down this park, seize your work, everything you've built.
And Hammond won't be there to protect you this time.
All of this exists because of me. If I don't innovate, somebody else will.
You are to cease all activities here immediately.
You are acting like we are engaged in some kind of mad science. But we are doing what we have done from the beginning. Nothing in Jurassic World is natural. We have always filled gaps in the genome with the DNA of other animals. And if their genetic code was pure, many of them would look quite different. But you didn't ask for reality. You asked for more teeth.
I never asked for a monster.
Monster is a relative term. To a canary, a cat is a monster. We're just used to being the cat.
Now here is where Wu's moral code gets a little blurry. Now I'll agree with some people here that he does tap into his villainous archetype role. And it's messed up. Okay, it turns out he was secretly working with Vic Hoskins. If you're not familiar with Vic Hoskins, he was the paramilitary engine guy. Okay, he's the guy who's trying to weaponize dinosaurs, trying to get them in the military. I'm going to play another clip for you. Here's his over-enthusiasm in using dinosaurs. Okay, let's play a little Vic Hoskins clip.
In my way. Come on. We're the same. We're dogs of war. We know that the military needs to reduce casualties. Some people think that robots are the future. Look, nature gave us the most effective killing machines 75 million years ago. And now we know they can take orders.
Anyway, Vic Hoskins, he wants to help develop these hybrids for use in the military. He evacuates the island. Well, he evacuates Dr. Wu and the other scientists off the island after the whole Indominus fiasco. Now, Wu, he's subsequently stripped of all his credentials after the Jurassic World incident in 2015 and charged with biomedical misconduct, okay, according to the Jurassic canon. At this point, you're probably like, aha! See? There's the gotcha moment right there. See, he is a bad guy. That's it. Case closed. Court is now adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. Adjourned. Well, not quite. Not quite. Okay, so if he was working with Hoskins and InGen's military-friendly execs to weaponize hybrid dinosaurs, he was charged with misconduct even when he was directed by Masrani himself to make a hybrid dinosaur to appease the investors of Jurassic World. Now, honestly, he didn't have a choice but to use various genetic components like velociraptor DNA, cuttlefish genes, and tree frog genes to make it, as Masrani desired it to be, bigger, scarier, and cooler. I mean, it's the equivalent of your boss, okay? Just think of it this way. You're going to work, okay? You're a good employee. You're like the Dwight Schrute of your job. You're doing everything to the T. You're passionate about everything. Your boss asks you to use all of the tools at your disposal without indicating specifically what those tools may be. Quite, that's a smart thing to do. You can't be put at fault if you didn't specify anything, covering your bases there. But your boss tells you to get something done, get it done by any means. You get it done, okay? Masrani, Dr. Wu, okay, here's the thing. Dr. Wu, he created the Indominus. Masrani, as Claire Deering was showing Simon Masrani the Indominus Rex in its paddock, he approved. He liked the dinosaur. It was scary. It was going to frighten children, frighten their parents. He's okay with it. But then he chastises. Imagine your boss chastises you when something goes wrong. Okay? Up until that point, everything was roses and daisies, guys. Roses and daisies. Everything is fantastic. Fantastic, partner. Until something goes wrong. What? Honestly, what? But here's the thing. Even if Wu was working with Hoskins, most of what he did with the Indominus was technically okay by InGen standards and with Masrani's blessing. It's not like he made the dinosaur in secret without anybody's knowledge and let it loose on the island just to eat some people for fun. I mean, he didn't do that. Now in Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, excuse me, I'm going to cough right there. I'm not going to edit that out. Too lazy. Excuse me. Now, in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Wu is seen working with Eli Mills, okay? And he has created another hybrid dinosaur, this time the terrifying Indoraptor. In this case, Wu is pretty much a quote-unquote bad guy, but again, here's where it gets complicated once more. When the Indoraptor is being presented during the dinosaur auction to all those rich bigwigs, and then Mills allows bidding, to begin on the new dino, Wu protests. He says vehemently, this is a prototype. He's worried, he's concerned that this dinosaur is not a finished product. It's a half-baked dinosaur, okay? You can tell the dinosaur is not all the way there. It's not stable physiologically and mentally. It's a prototype of the perfected dinosaur that they want the Indoraptor to be. Now, clearly, Wu has ulterior motives, okay? I'm not going to lie about that. But the science guy in him, all right, the creator in him, he knows the dinosaur is not perfected. It's not up to par. It's not what he deems appropriate. It's truly a monster in his eyes that can't be controlled. They just want to give the investors a taste of what they could buy later down the road. It's kind of like a preview. We're not watching the movie. We're just getting a taste of what it might be. Now, after the Indoraptor, of course, kills Wheatley and goes on his rampage through the mansion, kills Gunnar Eversole and his rich crony friends, and several mercenaries. The last we see of Dr. Wu, well, Mr. Wu, I know, his credentials were stripped, still doctor. We see Wu he's being dragged away by his mercenaries after Franklin injects him with the tranquilizer. Okay, so with that being said, up to this point, that's all I can really talk about because I don't know exactly where Dr. Wu's path may take him in the next movie. But with all this being said, I really don't understand how Dr. Wu can be called a quote-unquote bad guy. I mean, in the first movie, he's a secondary character. Okay, he's just doing his job. He's there with John Hammond. He's doing that whole show and tell with Dr. Grant, Dr. Sadler, Dr. Malcolm, Gennaro. I mean, he's there just showing off what InGen can do. And he likes his job. In Jurassic World, he's a faithful employee doing his work also religiously, but he also decides to work alongside Hoskins. Of course, there's where he's tapping into his villainous side with his own agenda in mind. In Fallen Kingdom, he's working for Mills, but shows a bit of rationale and logic concerning the Indoraptor. Now, Dr. Wu, in my opinion, is probably one of the best fleshed out characters of the franchise, especially if you consider how he's portrayed in the Crichton novels. This is very different than the movies. You have to understand, Michael Crichton's novels, where Dr. Wu plays a very specific part, is very different from how he's how he's, oh God, am I having a stroke moment? How he's being portrayed in the current movies and the movies of the past, the first Jurassic Park film. He's a very human character, okay? He has admirable, and I will say admirable. I mean, he works hard. He's dedicated. He's passionate. He shows some moral resolve here and there. And he has fallible traits as well. So he has admirable and fallible traits. And compared to the actual villains in the Jurassic franchise, I mean, you look at Dennis Nedry, Peter Ludlow, Vic Hoskins, Gunnar Eversole, Eli Mills, Ken Wheatley. I mean, he isn't one. I was going to throw Roland Tembo in there, but he's not really a villain to me. He's kind of like the anti-hero of the Lost World. Just throwing that out there. If you don't agree with that, leave that in the comments below. But I think Roland Tembo's an anti-hero. He's not a bad guy. Anyway, so an accomplice to villainy, yes, Wu. An accomplice to villainy, absolutely, yes. Morally ambiguous, of course. But Wu's ultimate goal is to advance science, push it to its limits. All those other characters had one thing in mind: money or power or both. They did not create the dinosaurs, he did, okay? It means something to him. My verdict, here it is: Dr. Henry Wu is a dynamic character. I guess if you were to specify, he is a dynamic. I guess it's a current specification for what a dynamic character would be. A dynamic, that means he has many components to his personality. But he has the antagonistic leanings based on situational circumstance. Is he a hero? Definitely no. But is he the Darth Vader of the Jurassic World franchise that this guy on Reddit tried to label him as? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Dr. Wu is not the quote-unquote bad guy, the Darth Vader of the Jurassic World trilogy. Not yet anyway, okay? All right? Because something may happen in the third movie. Definitely. I mean, he probably has a part to play. Okay, what's next? What am I going to talk about next on here? I think it's time for a Jurassic What moment. These are going to be some fun little moments I have sprinkled in throughout the Raptor Breakout podcast, where I talk about some hilarious goings-on from the... sorry, I just had a guy come up to the office here. Get out of here, guy. Get out of here. Anyway, backtrack here. I recently saw the Lost World Jurassic Park the other day, and one scene got to me in a way. Not the Eddie Carr scene. Okay, I know everybody's going to talk about that. No, not the Eddie Carr scene. That was heroic. Yes, we know. No, I'm talking about the death of Robert Burke. You know who Robert Burke is in the movie? He was the paleontologist on Ludlow's InGen team who got devoured by the female T-Rex in the waterfall scene, okay? Because he panicked. Because a freaking snake went on him, all right? That's how he died. Death by dinosaur / snake. Death by snake related to dinosaur eating you. Okay, so let me just break down the scene. So in the scene, the female Rex is chasing our unified group of survivors, and she corrals them into a small opening near a waterfall. All right, she's roaring. She's roaring like mad, inches away from chowing down on them. Then good old Robert, the guy in the movie who's supposed to be the dinosaur expert supreme, he's like the Doctor Strange of dinosaur knowledge here. He starts to go nuts because a snake starts slithering into his collar. All right, mind you, it looks like a milk snake. But of course, some will say that he panicked because it's supposed to be a coral snake in the movie. He didn't know the difference at the time, whatever. So, all right, he's in the female Rex is trying to get them. He's with the rest of the group, Nick Van Owen and Sarah and the rest of them, and they're all in the waterfall opening there. He's with them. He's okay, he's just like them. The T-Rex can't quite bite them, okay? But here's what happens. He proceeds, once the snakes really quick, I'm going to play the clip. I'm just going to play the clip, okay, of what happens, okay? Just so you can hear exactly how ridiculous it sounds.
Oh my God! Ah! The snake!
Okay, so he's washing machine his way towards the angry jaws of the Tyrannosaur, okay? And by washing machine, I mean he's spinning around as he screams, it's a snake, it's a snake. Okay, I'm going to inject the clip again one more time.
Oh my God! Ah! The snake!
Okay. Like the snake now takes priority over the dinosaur about to eat him, and he of course gets snatched up and eaten. Okay? Now I rewatched this scene like 3 times just to laugh, okay? And then once more to give the character a chance to see if I would do what he did in that scenario. And no, I freaking would. He even had to spin towards the Tyrannosaurus Rex, okay? Not in the opposite direction. I understand if something goes on here, all right, let's, for example, I'm sitting here and a mouse crawls up my leg, or like a rogue mosquito attacks me. And in this weird zany world, a velociraptor's at the door, and I have a choice between screaming away from the velociraptors, I'm trying to get the rat mouse off of me, or spinning towards the velociraptor. While I'm trying to, it's like, where's your priorities here, man? Do you want to get eaten or do you want to just brush something off? Obviously, brushing something off was more important to Robert Burke. So I say it was an unnecessary death, and a hilarious one at that. So fun fact for you, the character was actually based on paleontologist Robert Bakker. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. He was a rival of the renowned paleontologist Jack Horner, and he was created and killed off by Steven Spielberg as a favor for Horner. Now, Bakker was a good sport about it, okay? But by God, Spielberg just did a number on him. He killed him in the most ridiculous way possible. He could have got chased down and tossed up like a rag doll or something cool. Instead, Burke had to chaotically dance into the waiting maw of a T-Rex. It's one of those Jurassic what moments, and trust me guys, I'm going to be covering these a lot, because as much as I love the Jurassic franchise, throughout 5 movies now, there are some pretty Jurassic what moments that I'm going to be covering, and this one makes no sense whatsoever. It's like Horror 101 when the girl in the camp runs into a scary abandoned cabin where the monster or Jason or who knows what else is hiding in there, and instead of grabbing her keys and getting to her car and driving off, she runs into the waiting arms of Jason. That's it. This is what Robert Burke did. He just danced his way into death. Now, time for 10 things. 10 fantastic things I want to see in Jurassic World 3. Now, 2021 seems like it's eons away, but it seems like the next few years will be full of speculation for what the 3rd installment of Jurassic World will look like. Now, there isn't much out there, I know, and by much I mean almost nothing. But here are 10 things. 10 things personally I want to see in Jurassic World 3, okay? 10 things. Number 1, Spinosaurus, okay? Who doesn't want to see the Spinosaurus? 3rd film, I know it wasn't the best. When I was a kid, I enjoyed it. As I got older, I saw many of the flaws with the movie. One thing that stood out to me was a Spinosaurus. How cool is that dinosaur? the largest land carnivore portrayed in the Jurassic films to date. I'm not counting hybrid dinosaurs, okay? Talk about actual dinosaurs. I'm not counting the Indominus Rex. I don't know off the top of my head, I don't know the size comparison between a Spinosaurus and the Indominus, but I'm pretty sure the Spinosaurus might be a tad bit bigger. If you think that I'm wrong, also leave that in the comments below. Let me know. But anyway, I want to see the Spinosaurus come back. It might come back in an interesting way. I also want to see Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler come back. I mean, I want them to come. I want to see Alan Grant, Ellie Sadler come back. I mean, we've seen Dr. Malcolm make his return in Fallen Kingdom, even if it was for a short, very, very brief moment, you know. He was reading some really deep lines about death and the world changing and power and all that jazz. But I like Alan Grant and I like Dr. Sadler. I want to see them return. They're cool characters and they're icons of the Jurassic franchise. To not have them back in the third Jurassic World movie would be criminal at this point. I mean, how are you going to do that to us fans? How? All right, Colin, I know you're taking the reins over again. Trevorrow. I think it's Colin Trevorrow. Come on, help us out here. Put these characters back. I hope some of the rumors I've been reading are true. Here and there, some fan reports popping up that Sam Neill is apparently on board with some cryptic tweets to Chris Pratt. Anyway, off the top of my head, I don't know what's going on there, but I hope, there's truth in the matter there. I hope we see a return of these characters. What I don't want to see, please, no more hybrids, okay? I've had my fill. I don't want to see an Indominus Triceratopsian X 400, or I don't want to see any more hybrids. I mean, I love the Indominus. I like the Indoraptor. I like the design on the Indoraptor more than the dinosaur itself. The Indominus was more of an interesting dinosaur to me. The Indoraptor just seemed like the Indominus Rex 2.0, but if we shrunk it down and made it really scary in a mansion. It had some cool moments, but I don't want to see any hybrids, guys. I think I speak for a lot of Jurassic fans when I say that. I mean, we don't need hybrids to drive the story from this point forward. I mean, unless they do something completely out of this world, I don't see how another hybrid is really going to keep people satiated in terms of plot. So, no more hybrids. One thing I do want to see explored is the Biosign/engine war. What's going on? I want to see that. I mean, there's some cool stuff in Michael Crichton's novels and some of the comic books that came out during the 90s. Biosign was Engine's main rival. I mean, they were the guys responsible for, Lewis Dodson. That was Nedry trying to work with Biosign, trying to help them catch up on a whole bunch of years of research by stealing dinosaur embryos and other genetic material. I mean, I want to see that explored. Biosign could make a big comeback here. I mean, we could actually see them kind of move Engine to the side and say, hey, we actually got a hold of these dinosaurs and now we're doing fantastic. Or we have been and you don't know about it. I mean, come on, we can explore some plot threads here. I'd like to see Biosign be explored a bit. Also want to see more raptors. Number 5 here already. Number 5. We're number 5. More raptors, guys. I want to see more raptors, including Blue, but I'm talking more the Lost World. I want to see raptors working in unison with other raptors. I want to see them chasing people. I want to see them working in a pack. I want to see 5 or 6 of them, wrecking havoc in a neighborhood or in a jungle in Indonesia or wherever these dinosaurs are now being spread out after the events of Fallen Kingdom. That would be cool to see. And I also want to see, number 6 here, Dr. Malcolm. Dr. Malcolm, I want to see him come back, have a bigger role in the story. I think for Fallen Kingdom it worked out, but I'd like to see him take a more profound role in things going forward. I mean, we may not get that, and even if we get Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler, those 2 characters returning, I think they may have a part to play similar to the one Dr. Malcolm, the one Jeff Goldblum had in Fallen Kingdom. Something for nostalgic appetites, but not really within the main story. Another thing I'd like to see more utilization of animatronics. I know a lot of people don't really bring that up, which is interesting to me. I feel like had more people brought that up, that Fallen Kingdom was doing more than Jurassic World. And to just get the experience, Jurassic World to me was better than Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. But Fallen Kingdom really, upped the ante a bit here with the animatronics, They, especially the T-Rex in its cage on the Arcadia, I mean, fantastic. I mean, I felt like I was watching the first Jurassic Park. I love the animatronics. The practical effects are what really made the Jurassic franchise. It was a combination of groundbreaking CGI, amazing special effects. I mean, puppets and men's, what the hell? Yes, the men's in the costumes, the men's. What are you talking about? The men's. No, the men and the puppeteers is working the costumes. I mean, it was a perfect blend. A perfect blend of effects, and I feel like we need to see more of that. Number 8, big old number 8, number ocho. When I want to see the Mosasaurus, I want to see that come back. It didn't really have a big part to play in Fallen Kingdom, aside from some few cool scenes. Number 9, a good villain. Someone along the lines of, Eli Mills. Eli Mills was a really good villain. A lot of people, I don't think they realize how good of a villain he was. I know that you have to be kind of, how can I phrase this? Kind of uninformed about Jurassic villains of the past, but Eli Mills was fantastic. I mean, in my opinion, he was better than Ludlow, because Ludlow just seemed like a tool. I hated Ludlow. Ugh, I hated him. I love when Ian Malcolm told him off at the end of The Lost World in San Diego, after the T-Rex breaks off the boat, breaks out and runs through starts his rampage through the city. I mean, but Eli Mills, to me, he seemed like an okay guy, and he was a good guy, and he turned into this horrible guy, but then he was defending his actions in a great way to Claire and Owen. Like, he's kind of saying, hey, you guys did this before I did this, and I'm just doing what you guys did. How is it any different? I know villains have a complexity to them. Dennis Nedry was a fantastic villain. But yeah, we need some good villains. Third movie, definitely some good villains. I want to see some good villains be explored. Lastly, exploring the unexplored narrative. What do I mean by this? What if scenarios need to be played out? The post-credit scene for Fallen Kingdom showed these pteranodons up at the Vegas version of the Eiffel Tower. I want to see these what-if scenarios played out. What happens if velociraptors, a pack of velociraptors, they break into a school and the kids are screaming and they're running around? What happens if a T-Rex just starts marching down Powell in San Francisco? What if, in Manhattan, a Spinosaurus comes up out of nowhere on one of the docks? I mean, or a herd of Triceratops is being used for, it sounds terrible, but they're probably going to show this in a way, those rich bozos buying dinosaurs, probably for trophy hunting, which is sickening to me in the real world. It's going to be even just as sickening in the dino Jurassic world. So, but these what-if scenarios, how will they play out? What will happen? Who will be involved? I want to see that. And that's really 10 things. 10 things, guys. Is that too much to ask? 10 things I want to see in the Jurassic franchise, in the third Jurassic World film. And I think a lot of people will agree with me. If you don't, it's okay. That's what this podcast is for. Let me know what you don't agree with. Leave a comment. Reach out to me. So as always, I like to conclude every Raptor Breakout episode with my Jurassic Talking Points. First one, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Now out on DVD, Blu-ray, digital, and 4K. Quite a few versions out there are pretty awesome, with a lot of awesome bonus content and downloadable stuff. Target, Walmart have a few. Actually, did not get the Target copy, which has a lot of, it has a booklet in it. It's a 28-page booklet, I believe, and some other stuff. I don't know why, I couldn't tell you. It's only like $3 more, and I didn't. Anyway, so go out, buy Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, DVD, Blu-ray, digital, and 4K. Lastly, I'm going to pull up an article here because it's really interesting. It's from Sci-Fi Wire, and it's concerning Universal Pictures, teaming up with Classic Stills to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Jurassic Park. Classic Stills is teaming up with Universal Pictures as a brand development department to reissue a lot of the iconic moments from the film. So they're offering high-resolution fine art prints of these scenes, like the T-Rex attacking the Jeeps after the paddock escape, Dr. Malcolm in discussion with Hammond over the morality of bringing dinosaurs back, the Raptors chasing Tim and Lex in the kitchen. I mean, these moments are all immortalized on film, but now you can have them with high-res fine art prints. So that's interesting stuff there. Now if you want to buy one, let me see something here. I think that it says that they run anywhere from, depending on the size, $149 through $495. Now that's pretty pricey considering. I would agree. I mean, I think most of you would agree with me. Our budgets don't really allow to buy $500 prints of a T-Rex crushing a Jeep, but they're of the highest quality, guys. So if you want a birthday gift, or you have a few people save up for your birthday gift, or you want anything Jurassic that you can keep forever, I mean, or pass on your kids, grandkids that they could hang up on their walls for a long time coming, these are pretty fantastic to buy. I think Classic Stills is doing some great work here with Universal, giving people this stuff, so I think that was interesting to see that. Lastly, I will conclude with some plugs here, and I'm going to give some shout-outs to some fantastic Jurassic Park podcasts that I've been listening to and have actually given me that final nudge into putting Raptor Breakout out. I'm in good company with a lot of these podcasts. I just want to have you guys go and check these guys out on their main sites or here on YouTube. Jurassic Park Podcast, hosted by Brad Jost. It's a fantastic podcast. I listen to it every time they put out new content. I subscribe to a Jurassic Park podcast on YouTube. The Missing Compies, another fantastic podcast. Jurassic Outpost with their In General podcast. And I think I'm missing a few other ones. I don't know, I may be, but yeah, go and entertain the thought of subscribing and listening to some of their stuff. They do some fantastic work. They're helping bridge the gap. I think there's a gap between Jurassic fans, because so much of us are spaced out in so many different parts of the world, and I don't feel like we have a real platform like some of the other fandoms. And I'm a big Star Wars fan and Batman fan, but Jurassic fans, because content has been few and far in between, years between stuff, it's good to see that there are active members of our community that are really trying to reach out to one another and share all this cool stuff and share our thoughts and have these interesting discussions about everything Jurassic, and I love that. So you should definitely check these guys out. They put out some fantastic content, and yeah, I think that's the conclusion to the Raptor Breakout. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. I feel like this has been a very successful first episode. I apologize for any of the external noise. I am recording out of an office here instead of the studio. I did have a studio reserved for today here on campus. Unfortunately, that did not happen. There's some confusion. And I decided to record instead of coming in tomorrow morning. So I am using a private conference room. So with that being said, I hope you can forgive me if there's some noise in the background interrupting my T-Rex talk or my Raptor rundown or my Triceratops trifling or my... Okay, I'm going to stop. It's terrible. Anyway, thank you guys. As always, much love, much appreciation, and I apologize for being absent from YouTube for such a long time now. I don't want to, my schedule has been very hectic. I haven't been able to make any content, even for Unhinged. But Raptor Breakout it was imperative that I put the first episode of Raptor Breakout out. It's going to be fantastic Jurassic podcast, and I hope that you'll join me on this fun journey. Every episode will be different. We talk about so many different things. I know I'm a one-man podcast kind of guy, but I love the art of discussion and conversation. So I'm actually actively looking for a co-host or guests or people who want to join me here on Raptor Breakout. If you are, give me a shout out, get in contact with me. I have my business email here on my YouTube channel. You can find me on Twitter, find me on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at Eternal Jester KV, on Instagram at Eternal Jester. So reach out to me, and maybe you'll be featured here on Raptor Breakout. I'll figure something out. You could be oceans away and I'll figure something out. Trust me, I'll figure something out. I'm always dealing with less than what I really need to be working with, but I figure something out. So, with that being said, thank you, one and all, for joining me here on Raptor Breakout, and I'll see all you cats later. And by later, I mean, I don't know when, but I'll see you when. Anyway, thank you again, guys, and take it easy.
Cancel that order.
What? Why?
This is a game trail, Mr. Ludlow. Carnivores hunt on game trails. Do you want to set up base camp or a buffet?